Hi guys. I was kind of disappointed in the fact that, today, Wednesday, technically our last class, but we didn't really get to hang out because we're all busy getting stuff done for the end of the school year. And then I was also thinking about the graduation that they just had for the seniors and the great speeches that get made to the seniors at the end of their high school career, and I thought everyone kind of deserves a graduation speech every year, because you're all kind of graduating in a sense. Now you're going to be juniors. So I wanted to speak to you about some stuff. I hope it's going to have been a good year for you, and I hope that you learned some stuff. I hope that you've grown. I know you have. I hope you realize you have. So I want to just give you a list of things that I hope you learned from sophomore year, and hopefully you enjoy what I have to say. You never know. So I made a list of stuff that I hope that you've learned, and this is what I came up with. So thinking back to forensics, I don't know what you remember about processing crime scenes, and I don't really care what you remember about processing crime scenes. What I hope you learned is to never take anyone's word for it. Forensics is all about finding evidence and proving that you knew what you knew, and that is so needed in this world today. There are so many people that are just trying to say stuff, and they're not trying to provide any evidence that that thing is true, and that is so dangerous. And it's dangerous because a lot of wrong information can spread like wildfire, and wrong information is dangerous because it gets into our heads and it influences how we think, and how we think influences how we act and how we treat other people and our decisions. And we humans are the most powerful force on this planet. So if you screw up the information, and you screw up the human being, and that's not cool. So I hope in forensics you learn to prove everything and to ask everyone that you meet to prove what they're saying. If they give you a statistic, if they give you a fact, and you want to say, hey, where'd you get that from? That's not rude. That should be what we're all used to asking, is, hey, where did you hear that from? And if they can't tell you, or if they're like, oh, I think I heard it from a scientist, and the scientist was probably, like, people will say all the time, a study shows that you should do this. And people are like, oh, a study? A study said that? Anyone can say a study said anything. So I hope you learn to ask for evidence and proof, and that it's okay to do so. In forensics, I also hope that you learn to keep asking questions. Never think that you've totally figured something out, and you will always be ready for the next step, because you keep asking questions and you'll keep learning, and that's good. So keep asking questions about everything. Be curious. Only the curious ones ever go anywhere in this world, because they keep asking questions. One important question they always ask is, what if? What if this were to be different? What if this were to change? What if this were to even exist even though it doesn't exist now? Those what if questions will serve you well no matter what you do with your life. In marketing, here's what I hope you took away from marketing. Anyone can be creative. Seriously, anybody can be creative. I never used to think I was a creative person. I always thought I wasn't artistic, and artistic equals creative, and that's not really true. You can be creative in so many different ways. You can be creative in the way you think. You can be creative in the way you dress, in the way you express yourself, in the way you write, in the way you communicate, in the way that you are with other people. There's so many ways to be creative, and so many of you are creative, you don't even realize it. So anyone can be creative, and the world needs people to think differently. We have so many ideas floating around, and it's kind of like people are thinking there's no new ideas. I don't know if that's true or not, but I do know that the kind of thinkers everyone needs, and the kind of thinkers that end up getting to, follow their passions and do really cool things, are the ones that can pull a whole bunch of ideas together and create something new out of those ideas. And I hope you learned that from the marketing project, that you can be creative and that the world needs thinkers that can combine ideas into something new that no one's ever seen before and can solve problems. And we have tons of problems all over the place. So we need people that can solve problems. All right, from More Than a Stigma, I hope that you learned empathy. Human beings will destroy this planet and everything on it without empathy. Empathy is what drives people to do nice things for no other reason than that they understand that person's suffering. Empathy is what gets us to connect with people. It's what gets us to solve problems. It's what gets us to do anything of importance. It's understanding people and their feelings, understanding their problem, and really knowing and connecting with them. And I hope More Than a Stigma taught you that. More Than a Stigma, as you know, is our mental health awareness project. And it's huge and it's getting bigger every year. And you guys were an important part of that. And what you did this year was amazing. No other student at our school has ever attempted to do a mental health conference. And you guys rocked it. I also hoped you learned that you can make a difference. You got a great idea. Take it out to the world, make a difference. Even if you only reach one person, that's the value of each individual on this planet. One person is enough. If what you said or what you did or what you made gets to one person and it helps them to think differently or to act differently and to be better, then you are awesome. And that is exactly what empathy drives us to do. Is it drives us to do awesome things, and it drives us to make a difference. Motivation. Our last project is on motivation, and it is a tough subject, especially at the end of a school year. Teachers are tired, you guys are tired, we've put in so much work the entire year, and then you want to talk about motivation, Durfee? Yeah, I do. Motivation's a huge topic, and I think at Compass Academy, it's actually quite easy to see just how motivated people are. You guys have your free hours that you can decide what to do with. That's where you really see how motivated you guys are. And I understand that motivation is hard. So I hope that you've learned that personal relevance and passion and interest, that's where you're going to find most of your motivation. But here's the secret about motivation. You can't wait for it. You can't always wait until the mood strikes you. You can't always wait until something inside you lights up and you want to go do the task that you haven't really wanted to do. Because frankly, my toilets would probably never get clean if that was the case. I have 2 boys. So bathrooms are a thing. Like, they're gross. And so if I was to wait for motivation to clean those things, like this internal need to scrub pee off of toilets, I don't know what would happen to our bathroom. It'd probably be quarantined by now. So here's the thing about motivation, and I learned it from being a runner. Sometimes you just have to act without any motivation. I would sometimes get up way early in the morning before my family woke up to go for my long runs when I'd be training for a half marathon. And I don't like mornings. They are stupid. So I would not think. I would get up and like a robot, I would get dressed, put my running shoes on, get my iPod and run out the door. And I probably did not like the first mile. And then I'd get the first mile done, and all of a sudden I start feeling good. And I'm awake. And all of a sudden motivation hits me in the middle of the task I didn't want to do. It hits me, and I want to get it done, and I want to succeed. That's sometimes how it works. Sometimes you have to get up and do. And maybe motivation will hit you in the middle of it. Maybe it won't. But nothing really gets done in this world if people sit down and wait for motivation. If you're constantly without motivation, that's probably an issue. That's something you want to talk to somebody about. If you can decide that you just want to do the best you can at whatever it is you're asked to do, you will always find motivation. I have done some crummy jobs in the past. I've worked fast food. I worked for one of those survey places where you call people and they yell at you, like soul-crushing jobs. And yet I couldn't help but want to do my very best at each one of those jobs because I decided early on that that was who I wanted to be. And you are what you practice to be. If you practice caring about everything that you're asked to do, and if you practice wanting to do your best at everything you try, that is who you will become. It'll become part of your personality, and it will serve you the rest of your life, I promise. Overall, this entire year, I hope that you're okay with how hard I've pushed you. I do it out of love. It's because I love you guys. I really, really do. I'm trying to teach you how to think. And that's hard sometimes. I want you to think deeply about something. I keep asking you guys why, how, explain it to me. I need you to think. The world needs you to think. You need you to think and to think deeply about stuff. And that is why I pushed you so hard. And then I also pushed you to learn how to communicate about what you think about. Because as awesome as your thinking might be, if you can't tell anyone about it, that's sad. And I want you to be able to communicate your ideas in such an effective way that everyone is just almost in a trance listening to you, that they just can't help but just like fall in love with you and your ideas when you speak. And that's what I've been trying to help you guys do this year. And I hope that as much as I've pushed you, that you've realized my intent behind it. And it was not to be a mean English teacher. It was to try and help you learn how to communicate the awesome ideas that enter your head. And you do have awesome ideas. I hope that you will always want to, if you need help with anything, that you're more than welcome to come sit with me in the bullpen at my desk. You can come get help for writing assignments. You can come get help reading a novel. You can come tell me about the drama in your life, and I will sit and listen. I have snacks usually in my desk that you can have within reason. I mean, like one per person. I'm not rich. And I hope you know that that we, the facilitators, care about you. I care about you a lot. You guys each have a little piece of my heart. So come to me junior year, senior year, after you graduate, and I will always be willing to help out, listen, collaborate, help you complete a project. I'll do what I can to help you out. So I will stop now because we're approaching 15 minutes and I'm not sure how long your attention span is these days. You're all awesome. Hopefully this video has been helpful or at least not annoying. I don't know. So I will see you when I see you, and we'll have a great last few days of the year together. Bye.